These are 5 things that have been proven to cause damage to our hair. You guys don't know, every time you come online you'll see a new video, a new blog article, whatever it might be, from someone, I've done them before, telling us that we're doing too much of something or too little of something and that we're damaging our skin or our hair. But actually, do you know what? Some of these things I believe are just marketing ploys. Marketing ploys from companies who really want to sell a service or a product. But within this, there are things really that we should be looking to do less of or more of. And it's these 5 things here which actually could be causing damage to your hair. I'm going to tell you what these 5 things are and then little tweaks that you could be making in your hairstyling routine. Now the first one is all about wet hair. Now you might not know this, but actually when our hair is wet, it's more susceptible to breakage and damage than dry hair. Now, if you're jumping out of the shower, make sure you get rid of that excess water from the hair just by squeezing it lightly before you get the towel in. If you were to jump straight out the shower, get a towel in and do a rough dry, then the friction of that towel against the hair could cause frizz, damage and breakage. So really that is something to be mindful of. Another key point on this sort of wet hair thing is if you're going to go on to use a hairdryer, which a lot of you will be doing, like I do, then again make sure a lot of that excess water is out. It should really be towel dried before you're going to move on to drying with a hairdryer. Heat and hair is something that I've actually spoken quite a lot about on this channel. Be it hot water versus cold water when you're shampooing and washing, or using hair dryers. Now we all want to be using a hairdryer or hair straighteners for our hair, and actually, do you know what? I'm a big advocate for a hairdryer. I basically use them every day, but there's little things that we can do to change. Now, really the science behind this heat thing is that heat can cause temporary changes to the hydrogen bonds which hold our hair together. And over a long period of time, if you're doing this absolutely every day on a hot heat, then that can cause permanent changes to the hair. Now, I should say, you can be using things like heat protectants or whatever pre-sealer you've got to help protect the hair, but the easy thing you can be and should be doing is to take the heat down. Medium heat, fast speed, work the hands through and get your hair into the way that you want it. Also, if you're ever feeling like your scalp is getting hot, then the hairdryer is too hot. Take that heat down. The next one that can cause damage to your hair is by using dirty combs or dirty brushes. Now, dirty seems excessive, but really, it's something that I'm kind of guilty of too. Really, it's just using brushes and combs that aren't fully clean, that have got residue of hair product or oils on them. Now, actually, in doing this, it causes a breeding ground for bacteria, which no one wants. Also, when you're using that comb on dry and clean hair, you're putting those oils and that product back into the hair. And if you get it into the scalp, it could be blocking that follicle, which is where the hair comes from, and it makes it even harder for the hair to grow. Again, in very extreme, I'm not scaremongering, very extreme cases, this can weaken the hair, cause breakage, and ultimately lead to hair loss. But guys, seriously, that comb would have to be really dirty and you'd have to be doing that a lot. Now, sticking with combs and brushes, this one's actually more about technique. Now, over brushing your hair will again cause friction of the hair against the brush. It can lead to split ends and ultimately breakage. Now, this might be more relevant to guys with long hair, but I know really when I'm doing my own hair, like I'm looking now in the quiff, I use a brush in the front just to really build that volume. You've got to be so careful. One, from having wet hair that we spoke about, with the heat, which is another one, and then if you're getting the brush in, you really are causing quite a lot of trauma to the hair. If you are going to brush, then start at the ends. If you start at the ends and work through, then work your way down to the root. That's just going to ensure all those tugs, tangles, whatever it might be, are out. If you're going straight at the root, you are really going to pull at the hair, which can damage it. So just be more mindful of it. Be nice to your hair and it'll be nice to you. Now the final one is probably pretty obvious, and that's bleaching and dyeing our hair. Now this can cause some major damage to hair. I actually had a guy who contacted me on Instagram, direct message, and he said, I want to get my hair bleached, but at a salon it's so expensive. Should I just do it at home? I would say, no, do not take the risks with this. You can really damage your hair with bleach. It's so corrosive. What it does, it actually takes the outer cuticle off the hair and it allows that bleaching agent to go in and to remove the pigmentation. And the pigmentation is what gives your hair colour. And that's often why the hair is left that sort of yellowy or white tone, because it's taking all the colour out. If you're doing this a lot, then it can change the whole structure of the hair, which will leave it open and susceptible to outdoor sort of environmental damage from pollution, or if you go swimming a lot, from chlorine, and it can just really dehydrate the hair. So I mean, I know from when I bleached my hair when I was 19, and actually my hair felt at its worst at that time. Although I'd had it done professionally, it felt dry, it felt dehydrated, it felt brittle. I know when I was styling it, it just felt crispy, and it just didn't feel good. But that's not to stop you doing that. If you do want to get it bleached or you want to get it dyed, just go and see someone. And always be aware of how your hair feels, you know, normally versus it having any sort of chemical treatments. There you go. But I hope these 5 damaging things hasn't sort of scared you. It's not at all about this. It's just about being more aware of what can cause damage and what you can do to kind of counteract it. You know, life and hair is there to be living. Have fun experimenting with colour, with style, with whatever you want. You know, you don't want to get to be an old person and think, oh, I never cut my hair, I never did this, I never dyed it. Do what you want, but just be mindful that certain things can cause damage. But thank you very much for watching. Really hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please do hit subscribe right now. The button is just up there. There's also more video suggestions down there. And guys, there's a link to my blog. I've got this as an article, and then a couple of products sort of peppered through that I like to sort of look after your hair. But I'll see you in the next new video. It's going to be Sunday. I'll see you then. Bye bye.